How's it going, everyone? So this video is about how to do pause stops, like you're balancing and pausing and balancing at 0 miles per hour. So the first thing I recommend doing is practicing this on a bicycle. So it helps out big time, believe it or not, because you get used to pushing down with the pedal to give yourself power, but then you're holding a little bit of rear brake to keep yourself still. So first I recommend no brakes and just practicing, same thing on the motorcycle, I'll show you in a second. I want to get dressed and take the Z out and go practice. But first, no brakes, and just get used to try to balance as much as you can and go as slow as you can. And the same thing will do on the motorcycle. Just how slow can I go? Just get used to turning the bars and just using your body to balance a little bit. Just get used to that. Just as slow as you possibly could go. No brakes. On the bike, you'll be doing it with the friction zone. I'll show you in a second. And then once you get used to that, then you start adding a little bit of brake. And the whole idea is to push down with the pedal to give yourself the forward momentum, like the force of it, but the rear brake holds you still. And you can practice just trying to start to balance. You have to use your handlebars first, like balance yourself and use your legs and just try to balance. But eventually get to the point where you just sit here for a while, even stand up, and you're just balancing. But practicing on the bicycle helps out big time. The more I do this, the easier it is for me to balance on the motorcycle. Balancing is balancing. All right, so I'm gonna get dressed and head over to the parking lot and I'll show you on the bike. All right, everybody, so got back on the bike. So again, step one, I recommend practicing just using the friction zone, no brakes, and just kind of go in a straight line, balancing, and just see how slow you could go. Check it out. As slow as you possibly could go. But if you feel like the bike's gonna tip over, use your body, use the handlebars, but no brakes first. Just practice getting good at that. No brakes. Then you start to add a little bit of brake, but here's where it gets a little bit technical, right? So when you add a little bit of brake, the bike's gonna slow down. With the same idle RPM, it might be too much slowing down for the slow RPM. The bike might just turn off. So you have to raise the RPM and hold it steady, probably between like 2,000 to 4,000 RPM, hold it steady. Your very millimeter movements on the clutch, just a little bit of power, steady throttle, and then now you're using the rear brake to get yourself to go slow. Rear brake slowing me down. With the rear brake, you want to try to go not completely off and not completely on. It's just keep your foot on the brake and just kind of slowly go on and up, on and up. But you can hear the RPM going up and slipping the clutch, a little bit of power. It's just all slow millimeter movements with your clutch, your throttle, and the brake. Now, for some reason, I like to go full lock left. That's just what I'm comfortable with, because it just locks everything into place, and I use the rear brake, and then I can start balancing and just holding still, just 0 miles per hour. I turn my bars like that because my weight goes a little bit far this way. Instead of falling over, I turn the bars to reset myself. The goal is to reset yourself. Sometimes it takes 3 feet to do it. Try to reset yourself and get back to balancing within just a couple inches.
of course, you practice, right? But you're not going to do this for like an hour straight. Heat is the enemy. So unless you're going really hard, high up on the RPM and slipping the clutch will be fine. It's bathed in oil, you'll be all right. Just give yourself and the bike a bunch of breaks to let everything cool back down again, right? But a little bit of practice frequently, you get pretty good at it. Doesn't matter where you're looking. I kind of look in front of me at the ground. You can look ahead. Many ways to do one thing, but the goal is how slow can you possibly go, and try to pause and balance and just keep yourself still. Another way I practice this, I ride wherever. I try not to put my foot down at all. Even at stoplights, so say the stoplight is where you're at, I come into it, I just slow down almost to a stop, like 20 feet before the stoplight. I just inch my way towards and never try to put my feet down. You can try that as well. It's just real world practice, right? So there you go. Hope you learned something. Get out there and practice.